Hello and welcome. My name is Magnus Edholm, and joining us today is Siemens' own Joe Bohman. And I tell you one thing: if there's anything you want to know about products, software solutions, Joe is the man to talk to. And I tell you, you're particularly good in the field of product development. So I'm going to ask you a pretty stupid question.
There are no stupid questions.
Thank you very much. So we try. So I'm going to ask you a non-stupid question, and that is, what is the current status of product development?
It's a very good question. Thank you for that question. And so the state of product development is the same as it's always been. People are interested in better, faster, cheaper. And that's always what they've been interested in. And what we've done at Siemens is we've invested in a strategy that's focused around a comprehensive digital twin and building our accelerator data, our accelerator portfolio. And within that portfolio, we have the capability for design and manufacturing. We have Design Center, we have Simcenter, we have Teamcenter, and we have Opcenter. So maybe you're getting a little bit of a pattern here of what we've put together. And with these products, we're able to help our customers better, faster, cheaper.
Oh my God, that's really, really good. But you know what? I read a study the other day, and I have it written down here. I'm going to have to read to kind of get it all right. There was a global survey carried out with 1,300 companies by the company Splunk. And here comes the thing. It showed that 55% of enterprise data is dark, also unknown,
Yeah.
and only no more than 15% of the respondents are using AI to drive strategy, innovation, and customer experience. So, is it just me, or is this a challenge, or perhaps is this an opportunity? What do you think about that?
I think it's both a challenge and an
Yeah.
opportunity. And I think that data like that's probably not a surprise to a lot of people that are listening to us, because I think a lot of people experience this problem. And it's a challenge because, of course, if you have data and you're not able to access it, that's a problem, but it's a tremendous opportunity. And if I were to look at the state of the industry today, I think this ability to pull together those dark data, disparate data, that's really the big wave that's happening right now. A lot of people talk about AI. That AI wave is being powered by data. That's the big news.
Okay, so that is the solution, but how do you get there? How do you, well, first of all, why does so much dark data go dark at the first place? What's the reason for that?
Like it happens because of fragmented systems. When I talk to a CIO will typically have maybe 1,000 different systems that they're looking after. And so if you think about that, that's an incredible challenge with so many different systems. And if you look in departments and in engineering departments, manufacturing departments, different groups have picked different systems. That's a lot for people to keep track of and to keep that all together. And so the reason that that data is going dark in the first place is because you have in organizations, you have lots of different stakeholders. They bring in lots of different systems, and then you end up with this patchwork and you end up with this dark data, and you end up with teams that can't work together because of these data silos, maybe information where they don't even know that they have this data. A lot of sneaker net. Have you heard of sneaker
I
net?
have not heard about sneaker net. What's that?
Sneaker net is this idea
Like
of not
sneaker?
sneaker net is, taking data on a thumb drive and carrying it around. Right? And so, this is, you say, "Wow, is that really happening in this day and age?" And the answer is yes, it is. And so this is the environment that's out there, and it's a tremendous opportunity.
So how do you tackle that? I mean, what I'm listening to you, what it comes down to in my mind is that you're going to have a single source of truth, make all systems kind of work together, have data flowing from or between all the stakeholders, from the design, the planners, the automation engineers, and so on and so forth. That's how I see it. And how do you go about that?
Yeah, and so I think everything starts with having a really great data strategy. And so really understanding how to put all of your data together. And typically, when you think about a data strategy, you think about it in big buckets. You think about PLM data, you think about ERP data, you think about CRM data. And so really it starts with, and particularly a lot of what we focus on, and I'll talk a little bit about how we focus across those three bit buckets, but getting that PLM data under control. And that's where Teamcenter really comes in.
Okay.
Teamcenter is number one PLM product on the planet. It's used by almost everyone. And, you can bring together, it's an open platform where you can bring in engineering data from literally hundreds of engineering tools, bring that and all those data silos that I was talking about, single source of truth, as you mentioned, you can bring all that data together in
Hmm.
Teamcenter. It's the most scalable, system on the planet, bring that all together and get that under control. And so that's one big set of work that a company can do.
Yeah. Obviously, everybody talks about AI. AI is. Are people talking about AI? I thought they did. I mean, I say it in here. I don't hear.
I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be probably a big part of the future of product development, correct? And how would you say that we as Siemens are making good use of AI in the way we're developing solutions for the market?
Sure, great question. And so we're thinking about AI in three different parts. The first thing that we're doing is, the tools that I mentioned at the beginning, we're adding AI there so that if you're in Design Center and you're designing a product, we're bringing AI co-pilots to you right where you are and helping you with that design. So if you're thinking about designing any product, a car, an airplane, and so forth, we're bringing the AI there, and we call that engineering AI. A lot of great stuff there with like design space exploration. Instead of looking at one variation of the part, look at 1,000.
Right.
Use AI to help you with that. The second big thing is this idea of AI fabric. And this is the idea of you remember earlier I mentioned PLM, ERP, and CRM.
Hmm.
People struggle to bring those together. And with AI fabric, we're able to bring those together and do workflows across all of those domains. And the last one, agents, digital thread agents. And we'll talk, I think, coming up a little bit about,
Yeah.
threads, but digital thread agents, so exciting. This idea of being able to use agents and AI to help taking routine tasks, just whipping right through those and making those happen.
So if I said that for the people out there watching this, maybe heard about the digital twin, and now you say the digital thread. My way of explaining a digital thread in a very simple way is that it's kind of like a subway system.
Yes.
You know where you are, you know where you're going to go. And that's the same with those digital threads. You can go for accelerated product development, for smarter manufacturing, and so on and so forth. There's several threads out there. Now, you're bringing in here the digital thread agents.
Right.
What is that all about?
Yeah, well, let's just start with a digital thread. Let's pick one. You mentioned a few. I'll pick smart manufacturing.
Good choice.
Thank you. And so, if we take smart manufacturing, what a digital thread agent can actually do for you, if you think about smart manufacturing, where does it start? It starts with an engineering change. And then you take that engineering change down into manufacturing and you make a change down on the manufacturing line. What a digital thread will do for you is an agent will actually look at that change, look at the engineering change, analyze it, and actually execute the steps necessary to take that engineering change and drive that down into manufacturing. That's a great example of a digital thread agent.
So me growing up as an application engineer in the field of manufacturing, I have done numerous simulations, material flow, etc. So would you say that the thread would kind of go in and assist me? The thread agent would kind of go in and assist me and say, this is the way you need to do if you optimize the storage area, or you have like a congestion in this aisle or something.
Absolutely. And it'll come in and it'll help and it'll assist you. It'll help show you what the constraints are that you have to work your way through. And then actually it will drive the process for you
Right, right, right.
and push it through.
So the customer value in this would be then that you would be faster, you will be using your resources more efficiently. Are there any other ones that comes to mind when you
Better, faster, cheaper. So I always go back to better, faster, cheaper. And so obviously, I think it's pretty clear how the digital thread agents help you go faster. And so, I think everybody's looking to streamline their task and be more efficient. Cheaper, there are things in terms of there's just simply less labor that you need to use because the agents are doing the work for you, and better because you can actually look at a lot more alternatives.
right?
And so instead of looking at maybe one design or five designs or for a line, thinking about it, one layout, you can look at multiple layouts. Better, faster, cheaper.
That if it almost sounds like a rap song.
Kind of sounds like that.
I think I heard it once or twice.
Better, faster, cheaper.
Better, faster, cheap. Yeah, we can talk about that later. Excuse me. And in all of this, cloud plays an important role, I guess, for scalability, etc. Can you talk a little bit about the partnership between Siemens and AWS?
Super. Sure. I'll talk. First of all, let me talk a little bit about cloud, and then let me talk about the partnership. So for the cloud, I often say, my job is very simple. I mentioned a few products like Design Center, Simcenter, Teamcenter, and Opcenter. I always say my boss, our CEO, just gave me a very simple job. He asked me simply to put an X on all those products.
Yeah.
So my job is very simple. And when you see that X, that means it's a full SaaS version of those products. And so we're offering the Xcelerator portfolio as a service with the X products. And so for our customers, this has a lot of value. They all have built-in data management.
Right.
They all have modern collaboration features. They have this crazy cool AI that we're talking about and world-class operations. And then how does AWS come into play here? AWS is our premier partner for everything that we're doing with Xcelerator as a service and our X products. So we all of everything that we do is offered on the AWS platform, and we fully lever all of those capabilities that are there. And AWS, let me just say, has been a tremendous partner in terms of helping us optimize this whole portfolio to work in a fantastic way.
Excellent. That's really, really good. We're kind of not running out of time just yet. So here's the thing. Um, I've been talking with a lot of people, and sometimes, or ever so often, a three-letter acronym comes up: CIA. I understand this has nothing to do with CIA. Right? What does it actually stand for, and what does it mean for the people out there?
Super. Great question. And so for CIA, comprehensive, intelligent, adaptive. Let's go through those one
Yeah.
by one.
Yes.
And so I started with our strategy of comprehensive digital twin. So what's the comprehensive? What does that mean? And so a lot of companies will talk about a digital twin, maybe if they can simulate a fluid or if they can model a particular line. When we talk about the comprehensive digital twin, what we're saying is that we can go into a company and we can model end to end the whole thing. That's comprehensive. We've actually spent, and I don't know if the audience is aware of this, is we spent over 25 billion euro putting together this portfolio. So that's another way to measure comprehensive.
Right.
And I firmly believe that we have the most comprehensive digital twin on the planet. That's the C. I, intelligent. The things I talked about relative to AI, the engineering AI, the AI fabric, and of course, our digital thread agents. And then adaptive. And so many customers, if you think about change is so constant, our ability to adapt their operations. If you think about um, changes that you have in your forecasting that says you have to change your factory,
Mm.
that's how quickly can you do that? That's adaptive, CIA.
CIA. So now we have like the first one was cheaper, faster,
Better, better, cheaper, faster.
better, cheaper, faster. Now we have oh, so I gotta take my notes here. Yeah. So that is comprehensive, intelligent, adaptive. Very, very cool. And at the end of the day, we have not too much time left. But to summarize, and you correct me if I am wrong, um, making sure that you have data under control. You gotta have it most likely in a single source. Whether you're gonna have ERP systems, CRM systems, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Making sure data flows between the different stakeholders.
Yes.
Use that data, make sure that the people who are involved in, in the process get access to that data at the right moment in time to build the best product and create the most effective production. For that, we're using the digital twin, which has a multitude of facets and the digital threads. And the next thing is the digital thread agents. If anyone out there want to know more about this, what should they do? Should they give you a call, or what would you say is
No, I think Siemens is everywhere. And so please look up your Siemens rep and they'll be happy to talk to you about it.
there you go. That's fantastic. Joe, it is always a pleasure having.
Agnes, can I just say it's always a super pleasure
Yeah.
to be able to talk together.
No, it's fantastic. And thank you very much for taking time. I know you're a very busy man, and we appreciate it very much. And it's, as always, I said, a pleasure to have you. So that would be, I'm looking at that camera, and that is Joe Bohman, our Executive Vice President for products, software products. And as I said in the beginning, if you want to know anything about software solutions that we have at Siemens and also the collaboration with AWS, Joe is the man. So thank you very much for having you.
Magnus, it's been my super pleasure.
Thank you.